Alright everyone, hello. Today we're going to have another video that I'm sure a resounding none of you were expecting, outside of all of you. So, jokes aside, let's get into this relatively quickly. The M4Y, this will be the premium to introduce the new Yo tank line for America. I think they're heavies, but that doesn't really matter for the purpose of this tank. So it fits a 4-man crew, same as the E5 and T57, which is quite nice. In this case, I'm using my E5 crew. You can see the equipment I'm running is very typical Vents Vertstab rammer, unlike the Tornvong we mentioned yesterday. This has like actually useful view range, so you can get away with not running optics. Again, if you want to, it's up to you, whatever. As far as the ammo and the gun, we'll look at that now. So it's a 105 millimeter gun, I want to say 20 base pen. Yeah, 220 base pen with 1,000 meters a second velocity. I'll actually pull this up here so you can get the full picture. We're looking at 1,000 credits per shot, 360 alpha. That's really respectable for its standard round. I'm definitely not expecting a repeat of yesterday with the Tornvong. You can see we have an 8.6 second reload on the setup I have. I'll get into what the stock values are in a little bit. 40 degree traverse speed, really not bad at all. 10 degrees gun depression, which is lovely. 20 elevation, more than useful. You have almost 2.2 seconds aim time with 0.35 dispersion on the setup I have, which it really isn't terrible. The soft stats on the gun feel very responsive, so even though it is 0.35, it does feel a bit more, manageable than that, I think. 2.5k DPM, I didn't feel like it was bad for a tier 8 premium. I thought it felt pretty comfortable. Hit points, you could see we're running 1,500 standard. Now, we'll get into the armor and stuff here relatively quickly. So it's 178 frontal hull armor. That is rather well angled. I'll show you that in a second. 76 on the sides, 51 on the rear. And the turret is 279 on the front, 241, and then 38 on the sides. Or on the rear, sorry. It's 241 on the sides, I apologize. Now, the reason I wanted to wait for you to see this is because you can see the turret is actually two separate things. The actual turret is this bit internally, right? But you have the outer plating out here, and that really heavily bumps up the armor values. So typically, if you're going to be firing at this, you really don't want to aim. You just want to brute force your way through. You're going to be looking at about 300 pen will get you through reliably, not accounting for getting kind of screwed by penetration RNG. It's about 275 to 280 millimeters. If you see these hooks here on the side of the turret, this bit here and this bit here, looking at it from the front, if you shoot basically from there in towards the U shape of the gun, again, you're looking at about 275 to 280 millimeters of thickness on the turret. Same goes for the side and the right. But I think a little bit over that 300 pen should be fine. Now, provided you don't have that pen available to you, don't worry, this is not going to be another chieftain. You totally can pen it. If you've ever fought the Panzer 7, the VK28, or not 281, sorry, the VK7201K, or the low, you'll know that you can shoot through the gun in some cases and pen the tank. That also applies here. Behind the gun, you can see this dark patch. Excuse me, there is actually a plate of armor there. That is part of the turret, and you need way less pen to go through it. I think it's something as low as like 220 in some cases. I think it goes as low as 208, depending how flat it is. Now, that's not going to be super easy to hit, provided it's full hull down, because remember, this does get 10 degrees of gun depression, but you can shoot through this ring back here, if you see my cursor, if it's in full hull down, and you should be able to pen and damage it. Again, it's been a hard time being able to test this for sure, because the tank is just so new, and people aren't really used to fighting it. Anyway, I hope that kind of covers the armor profile here. You can see it's very, very flat as well outside of the turret, so HE pens from the rear are going to be very, very possible. We'll cover the speed next. 45 kilometers an hour top speed forwards, 18 backwards, which really, 18 is not terrible. Typically, my bar for when something is good is about 20, and you're in a pretty good place there. So 18 is more than useful. You have 45 degree traverse speed 2, 3.31 camo stationary, 1.65 moving. Again, that's really not great, but I don't think it really matters the heavy. This thing exists on ridgelines, and even, I guess, side scraping, you could definitely get away with it because the hull is kind of weird. But the setup I have, I'm running 442 V range. Now, I am aware I have a very good crew. I am running food. I am running bounty equipment, so you can expect typically if you're going to run standard stuff, a little bit less than that. Now, really quickly, we'll just cover the like the default stats of this. So on the left, you'll see what I have, and on the right, you'll see the standards. So again, we got 368 alpha on a 105mm gun, 220 standard pen, 10.8 base reload, which considering a 360 alpha gun and the flexibility this gun has, I really don't think is that bad. Obviously, more TPM, more better, but you know, that's not always super available. You can see we have 2.4 second aim time standard, 0.38 dispersion. You could definitely drop that down with like improved aiming unit or something. I just don't really think it's worth it. I think you'd want to keep that view range up a little bit. Just shy of 2k DPM stock. We have all the stuff's the same. The weight limit is all the same. And I think that covers pretty much everything. With the camo as well, it's about 5% camo too, which again really isn't anything remarkable. 380 standard view range though. But that should cover the garage portion of this video, I think. I'm going to get you guys over to, and we'll talk about the best game I had in this. It was pretty good, and I normally don't take these great games because I try to show you a typical match, but this is literally the second game I had, and I feel it really showcases the strengths of this vehicle and where maybe there could be some pitfalls. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll catch you over there. Alright everyone, so now let's check out how the tank plays on pretty much a perfect scenario. So we do have 2 arty, which is not ideal. We, however, are only fighting in a mill, basically. In this case, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. So once we get up on this hill, you can see just how useful 10 degrees of gun depression is. And I know it's like you've never seen it before, obviously. I'm pretty sure all of you are aware of how good 10 degrees of gun depression is on a map that's basically all ridgelines. We poke up here on the left. You can see our 45 TP is trying to get my attention. I try to shoot the back of the Emil 1's turret to force an ammo rack, because I think that's where the ammo rack is. The DPM here, again, remember it's about 8 seconds on that gun. So the brawling potential here feels really great, because again, you can pen this thing through, good RNG there, through the gun, but people don't really know that yet. So, you know, keep in mind watching this, the value and strengths of the tank will be more well known, and the weak points will be punished a lot more heavily. However, I hope you can see just on this early bit of gameplay how comfortable the gun feels, even though again it's 3.5 or 0.35, Jesus, imagine 3.5, 0.35 dispersion. It feels really workable, and I know we're not shooting at immense ranges, and I did miss that shot in the AT-7, but I hope you can kind of see how even traversing the gun doesn't really bloom that much. My biggest complaint with this tank is the fact it looks gross. That's really about it. I don't know what this artillery piece was doing, but there's that 360 alpha instead of 320 that really comes in there and saves the day. And now it's typical ridgeline fighting. It's exactly what you'd expect. You pick up another kill there right off the bat. We are not doing too good up here though. Our tank destroyer, the AT-7, was AFK. The T-28 starting to push me, and he's on full HP. That really worries me. Nice 388 shot there. You can see I switched the premium ammo a little while ago, actually from the start probably. And we should get some free farm there. There's our third kill. Something else to mention, by the way, and again, I hope you can kind of see this here. The premium ammo really isn't remarkable. It's only 250 pen, and I'm not saying that as, oh my god, why doesn't it have great premium? It's more just, keep note of that. It's not simply a better round in a significant way, the same way it is with the Tornbong from yesterday, where you go from, again, respectable pen of like 248 up to 300, and the velocity goes up by almost 500 meters a second. On this, it's like a 200 meter a second increase, which really isn't that crazy. That 250 pen is lacking here because we are shooting down at an angled plate, so That's about what you'd expect. We take a hit there. I don't know if that was through the gun mantlet. Well, not, I guess not really a mantlet, but through the gun, or if that was through the commander's hatch. I want to say commander's hatch because I lost my commander. We are getting some relatively comfy shots here, though I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable about the progression of this match because the enemy team is playing pretty heavily down now in the city, and every shot I miss on this T-28 is really not great for us. I'm hoping our artillery will start firing and taking out this low HP guy, but we might need to be the ones to do that, and we are. Now, I want to push this IS-22 because I think I have an advantage. I don't really see anyone else near me to stop me. Of course, the G-Sword could have moved somewhere to cause issues, but again, 10 degrees, super lovely. We're already up to 4.4k this game. Again, I know I typically avoid showing the great games for a review, but I figured, again, kind of similar to my old CS63 review, if I show you a game where the tank really exceeds and has all things going for it, you can kind of see what it's capable of, where, you know, if I don't show you that, then I suppose there are metrics, there are benefits to it as well, so it's kind of a up in the air deal. I unfortunately don't pen that shot. I'm going for the kill here. It should be all free. Second guessing myself on the shot because 220 pen, I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess that up. I really want to hit here in the AT7, but he's not going to give it to me. That's our 5th kill as well. We might be able to get a pretty chunky game here, up to 5.7k. This should be all free farm. I'm trying to make sure I hit these shots as quickly as possible because I don't want to run the risk of getting overrun. His AT7's pushing right into us. You can see the DPM again feels really comfortable. Get a nice penetrating round through his lower plate. We are trying desperately to angle. He doesn't pen us. I'm wiggling in order to make that weak spot on the gun harder to hit. This LPC is really a huge problem, and he probably would have killed us, but by the grace of our SPG, God forbid, he kills him. And that was absolutely massive to get that guy. We're now in a pretty winnable scenario, and I'm on a pretty nice game. 6.6k is very comfortable. Now, at this point here, I panicked, because if you don't know, about 260 pen will be enough to go through the Emil 1's turret. And if you've been listening, then you'll know this says 250. I was really hopeful that I would pen his turret here, and I don't. And that throws what would have been a pretty wild game. Now, thankfully, we do go on to win this. I'll show you guys the stat cards, because somehow I remembered to do that. At this point, when I was playing this game, I was in Discord hanging out with people, and I was screaming, good God, please don't lose this. They have, like, no HP. You can even see me in chat trying to apologize. But anyway, I won't hold you guys on too much longer. I do hope you found this review at least a little helpful. I would say as an overall rating, I'd probably give it, again, about a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Definitely above average. Let's settle on a 7, actually. I wouldn't be too upset with this if you got it out of boxes, especially if you're a frontline player. It'll be fine for that. But even for randoms, 10 degrees gun depression, you know, good pen, good alpha, you'll be doing okay. I'll catch you guys in the next one.